Good morning. It's Friday, May 1st. It's a new month. May is our last month of school, and I just wanted to check in with you all and talk a little bit about some of the things this week that we did. Um, I've been hearing from people who need help. That's great. If you don't do some work by about Wednesday, I reach out to you. If you're not clicking present and focus pretty regularly, Miss Pila reaches out to me and I reach out to you. So it might not seem like we're here. And I know this week I didn't push out a lot of videos and lessons and things, but we're here. I'm here and I'm checking on you. Um, I even have my spectacles on so that I can see you better. Um, so this week was a little different. We had all of our work pushed out on Monday and things due by Friday. You had Dragon Wings to finish chapter. I'm going to mute my television because I'm not sure how much of it is messing up here. So finish Dragon Wings, take the chapter 11 and 12 test on quizzes, and that's due by the end of the day today. So we wrapped that up. Congratulations on finishing up another book. And I know we learned a lot about point of view with that book, and a lot about history as well. The other thing we had, of course, is our iReady. I still have some people not doing the 45 minutes on their pathway. There's the pathway where you work on stuff that's at your level. You're supposed to work on that for 45 minutes a week, just like we did when we were at school. And then there's those teacher assigned lessons that the district is pushing out, and there's two of those. I've put a few times out there a schedule where I recommend doing the pathway for 20, 25 minutes one day. The next day, do it until it reaches the 45 because it'll keep track of it for you. Then you know you've met your 45, and then you can do your two teacher assigned lessons. Those of you working up at like the 8th grade level, do your best. Remember, you're being taught stuff that isn't a part of what we do here in 6th grade. Take notes, and if you don't do well on it, it gives you another chance to do it again. But those pathway lessons, those aren't counting for you or against you. They're just getting the time and getting the experience. And of course, if you don't do well, they're going to make you do it again. So try to do your best. The teacher assigned lessons, those are 6th grade standards. Most of them we've covered this year. So take your time, take notes. I mean, the procedure that we had in place was made for this. It was made to help you be able to do that and be successful. So taking notes, writing down what you put for answers. So if you do not pass it, and if you get below a 70, it's going to let you do it again. And I take the higher score. So be aware of that. So we had Dragon Wings, we had iReady, and then we had a doubled up on social studies because I didn't assign, you didn't have Tropicana, you didn't have any really other work in Dragon Wings other than to finish it. And I want to get us all through all of our social studies content. I want you to have that basic understanding before you move into some of your middle school social studies. So moving forward, it's going to be predominantly social studies. I'll throw in some writing assignments here and there and some reading assignments. Next week, I don't see myself going back to Nearpod next week because this week I'm going to be spending a lot of time grading all of the stuff that I pushed out to you. Speaking about grading, I can't grade stuff until it's the due date, right? Like I could go in there on Monday and see who did it, and Tuesday and see who did it, but I'm in spreadsheet torture over here. This is a fresh one because we're on the second part of the interim. But these spreadsheets back here, that's going back and going back and going back to see who did what. So I wanted to explain to you, that the day that it's due, or the next day, I go in and I check for it. If it's there, I put the score, hunky dory, we're done. If it's not there in pencil, I put a circle. This is in my spreadsheet. And then I enter the grades the day or so after it's due. If you don't have it and I put that circle there, in a couple of days I go back and check again. And that time I put a red dot, and that red dot says, Mr. Rivera, you've gone back once to look and see a few days later if they have it. I'll do that again a couple days later, and I go back in, and if it's not there, I put another red dot. Once I have a circle and 2 red dots there, that means I've gone back in 3 times looking for that assignment, and I have to move on because by that point I've assigned new stuff, and I need to be looking at that because then I start the process over. So After with about 4 or 5 days, if you didn't do something, you can still turn it in. That's absolutely fine. But you're going to have to send me a Google chat message saying, Miss Rivera, that work that was due last week, I finished that. Will you please go look for it? Because otherwise, I can't get the new grading done. So, my flexibility is there for you turning in things when you can, but I also have to have some limits. Now, the reason I have the social studies TCI open up is because this week I put out the lessons for 22 and 23. You're supposed to do the notebook, right? And the lesson game, and then be prepared for the test on Friday. I wanted to be able to push the test out and let people work at their own pace. And heck, if you were done with it by Wednesday, yay, you're done. It won't let me have the test out and the notebook open at the same time. So right now I just pushed the test out, and some of you are really happy because you're going in to check your test and take your test. But some of you who didn't quite get finished with the notebooks for 22 and 23, you're stressed out because it probably locked it up for you. This is the mysterious part of TCI that I'm not exactly sure how it works. Oh, I have this closed. Why is this coming through? So that being said, I wanted you to try. So as soon as you open the test, your textbook locks up. We know that. So that's something we knew before. But if you don't open the test, I think it still locks the notebook for you if the test has been assigned to you. But I'd like you to try one thing before you assume that you can't get into it. Instead of going up here, this purplish, bluish thing comes up. Instead of going up here to assignments, if you go directly to your textbook or notebook here, see if that will work, okay? If it doesn't, I have to leave the test open for people who are ready to do that today. The test is set to be due at midnight. And then next time I come on grades to look at things, probably Monday, I will record who did the test, and it won't be assigned anymore. I'll make sure that the notebooks are there and people can work on that next week. The problem with that, folks, is now you're backing yourself up. 22 and 23 are going to be there, plus you're going to have next week. So I just encourage you guys to do your best. I'm not checking the notebooks for anything more than just, did you put some answers there? Now, if you go in there and put a bunch of, nonsense in the answers, then you might not be learning what you need to know for the test. But chances are, if you are looking at those questions, rereading the text, jotting down a few notes in there, some key ideas, even just pondering it and putting a couple of words in there, it's going to show to me that you did it. And it's not meant to be torture. It's not meant to be little essays that you're writing in there either. It's just meant to be questions that focus you in on the important stuff. And remember, let's go to section 1. The other things that can help you after you read it to make sure you understand it our favorite check for understandings down here at the bottom. After you read it and you look at I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi. The interweb is very slow today. So you've got this, and if you can't even remotely answer this, then you probably need to reread that section. My computer is just rebelling. It's saying no. Okay? So, I think that's all the things that I wanted to tell you. Next week, same routine. We're going to have new iReady lessons, and we'll have new social studies lessons. And there'll probably be a smattering of some sort of writing or reading, but it'll be from the social studies. I want to look and see how this week went first. So those of you who want your work first thing Monday, I'm sorry. I need to look and see how everybody did on this week's work. But you can definitely get started on your iReady. There'll definitely be the next lesson that we're going into, I believe, is lesson 24 to finish up our work on China. And we're just going to have to be flexible, okay? All right, I got to go. My dogs are going crazy. Boomer, stop it. Hope you guys are well. Miss you. Bye.